Hey, and welcome to Productivity with Zest, the podcast that helps you get the important stuff done without burning out. I'm Jasmine, and I live and breathe productivity strategy, the kind that gives you life and helps you get the important things done in a way that works for you. Here I like to keep it real and practical. No fluff, all zest and no pith, just simple, doable strategies that help you focus, get organised and actually move forward. If you want to figure out what area of productivity is holding you back, take my quiz at www.zestproductivity.com/quiz. Now on to today's episode. Hi everybody and welcome to Productivity with Zest. Today I am joined by the brilliant Rachel Beck, who is an entrepreneur and founder of Vigor Vitamins, someone who brings a refreshingly real perspective on productivity. Rachel runs a thriving business in the health and wellness space, but what makes her story even more powerful is how she's learned to navigate procrastination, focus, and the challenges of probable ADHD while building success on her own terms. From finding ways to make work fun and targeted to using fitness as a tool to reset her brain, Rachel has built her own productivity toolkit that's both practical and inspiring. I know this is going to be a conversation full of honesty, energy, and plenty of tips you can borrow for your own life. So welcome to the podcast, Rachel.
Thank you so much. That was the best introduction I have ever had to anything. That made me think, I think I want to be her friend. That was nice. Thank you, Jasmine.
Well, Rachel is somebody that I met at a networking event, pretty much all my guests, which is wonderful. And Rachel is definitely the kind of person that you want to be a friend of.
Bless you. Thank you so much.
So for anyone who hasn't come across you yet, Rachel, can you share a little about what you do with Vigor Vitamins and what your day-to-day looks like?
Okay. So Vigor Vitamins, I'm in the first year of trading. I am eco-conscious, high quality, effective supplements for women of, I hate saying a certain age, but I'm 41, so around that age. And I couldn't find anything on the market that I felt ticked all those boxes for me. A lot of the supplement industry is trying to sell you plastic bottles and imported in from other countries with not great quality and massive claims of rubbish, really. You know, this will fix this and this will fix this. And I wanted to be really honest and say, look, your lifestyle and your diet and your exercise and your getting fresh air and community and gratitude, all of this is your main focus in life. And your supplements are supplements to help and are in addition to a healthy lifestyle. So that is kind of general what my business is about. And then day to day, so you wear all the hats, don't you? I'm a packer. I ship orders out to my lovely ladies. I do social media. I plan that in advance. I do website updating. I write blogs for the website, product development. My day can be so varied, but a lot of it within the new business is proactive rather than reactive because you're trying to build it up. So it's, a lot of proactive, which is hard when generally I tend to be better in reactive situations. When you throw a load at me, that's when I'm flying. So the proactive stuff really takes a lot of effort for me.
I absolutely love your vitamins. We've talked about this before. I know after taking them for a month, you saw me in an event and you said, you're glowing. And honestly, they are brilliant. But what I love is the convenience of them. A little glass bottle you get when you first join. And then I love the packet that you send it in. I love tipping them into the little glass bottle again. I love knowing it's covered. And I was telling Rachel earlier that I actually put the ingredients into ChatGPT to check them. Not to spy on Rachel, but I was looking at my supplements and what I needed for my health goals. And ChatGPT was very glowing about these supplements. Said that they were very good multivitamin, but with these additional things that are really good for females in particular.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned there that you much better kind of reactive rather than proactive. You told me that you very strongly suspect you have ADHD. So that clearly shapes your work and potentially affects this kind of proactive versus reactive. So, this all influence the way you approach productivity.
So it's all new with me just starting a business, because I've always been a people pleaser and I've always wanted to do good for other people. So I've always been in self-employed situations where people give me tasks and throw jobs at me, and I'm like, look, I can do this really well. Look how good this is. And so the last year has been a massive awakening for me in my own resilience, my own drive, productivity, beating myself up a lot, and actually really understanding who I am and what I'm good at and what I'm not good at and what I need to maybe work on. So the productivity thing it's a tricky thing for me, because I tend to leave stuff last minute. I need the pressure to get stuff done. I get distracted really, really easily. Your phone is constant, and being an online business, mainly on social media to try to get customers in, you're on social media all the time. So the distraction of being able to scroll and then going down rabbit holes of random stuff you shouldn't be is just so prevalent in my day-to-day. It's real. I've had to really push myself and kind of have coping mechanisms to be able to avoid that. And it has only been the last 2 or 3 years that I've suspected ADHD, but it would answer a lot of questions from over the years and make a lot of sense, and probably a bit of a moment, that's why this, and it kind of ticks a lot of the boxes. So yes, it's a day-to-day struggle.
What are some of your red flags when you notice you're getting distracted? And then how do you pull yourself back on track?
It's so hard. It's really, really is hard. The red flags are if I work from home and I work on my own. So I go downstairs to have some lunch and I'm finishing a coffee after lunch or some water, and I'm sat scrolling, and then it's half an hour later or an hour later. That's a massive red flag of, you need to get up and do something else, Rachel. And if I have been doing that for a little bit of time, and I need to be honest with myself, because you can talk yourself into doing what you're doing. And I have done that a lot. So I can talk myself into, well, I'm researching, I'm looking at competitors, I'm looking at, I'm being reactive, I'm being really responsive quickly to customers that might message or customers that might like posts. And you can talk yourself into, well, I'm doing my job. But actually, it's not. My current focus is gaining customers and getting people to believe in my brand and trust in my products that I've put out there, and to make them want to purchase them and have them on subscription. And just scrolling is not actually doing that. Massive red flag if I've been scrolling for a little bit too long.
And how do you stop yourself scrolling when you've spotted it?
I need to try to refocus my brain and go back to my list of things that I needed to achieve that day. So I try to, in a morning, if I've been to the gym, I try to think while I'm at the gym, or if I've gone for a run, which isn't often, but I have started trying over the last few weeks, is to, while I've got that quiet time and I'm not distracted by my phone and I can't be on my phone and I'm physically getting, exhausted, I try to think what I want to achieve that day, and just keep in the forefront of my mind what my goals are overall, what I want to achieve that day, and then just trying to bring myself back to that and be real with myself and say, this is not helping. You're doing nothing useful here, Rachel. Just get back onto what you should be doing.
Sometimes we just need to tell ourselves, don't we? I speak out loud sometimes. If I've caught myself doing something and I know that I'm doing something I don't want to be doing, I'll always go, oh, Jasmine, put the phone down or stop doing this thing. I almost talk to myself out loud.
Yeah.
And somehow when you say it out loud and then you also hear it, it gives you a bit of a push, but you almost have to stop yourself, draw a line and go, right, move on. So there's almost two things that you need to do. You need to spot it in yourself, which you certainly do when you're like, oh, You're not actually being productive here, even though you think you are. You're not. So you have to tune into yourself and be able to spot it. And then you also have to be able to reset and stop it.
Yeah.
Love the concept of drawing a line in stuff, because this is something I do with my kids all the time. You know, when we've had like, maybe there's been a few arguments, maybe some of us are tired from late nights in the summer holidays and we're a bit tetchy.
Yeah.
Should we just draw a line over this? And we literally draw a line with our foot on the floor, not like with an actual pen, otherwise the house would be full of lines, but like a metaphorical line, and then we step over it together. Or sometimes use like carpet grippers as that's the line. And physically doing something can just stop you from what you're already doing.
Yeah.
So maybe if you're in a scroll hole and you spot yourself, you go, right, okay, I'm going to draw a line now. Can't get that time back, but I can be something different now. I can do something different now. So you can quickly draw a line, step over a line, put your phone down, do something different. It's really interesting you talked about phones, because I've literally just written a little mini episode for my private podcast, which is just for my subscription, my productivity gym members, all focus and distraction management, because it is such a passion of mine.
Yeah.
Because we are powerless to our phones, because so much money goes into them to make them this hub of distraction, because the more we're on our phones, the more money these app developers will make from ads. That our attention is what they're selling. They're selling our attention. And I read a couple of books. One was called The Attention Fix by Dr. Anders Hansen, which is quite sciencey, which I love, and Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. And both of those shocked me, but also showed me how to get my power back over my phone and the distractions. So yeah, I very, very passionate about this area.
It's so important. I've just been having hypnotherapy, and one of the things it brought up within the very first session, it was about food and my relationship with food, and how sometimes it's used for comfort or boredom, and the dopamine hit. I think I struggle with the diet. And one thing it brought up, that my mind is in a constant emotional state rather than an intelligent state, and that being more present in the moment will help with that. So the phone thing for me is massive at the moment. If I sit and watch a film on an evening, which we do most evenings, once the day's done, food, you've had your tea, everything's cleared up, you have a relax before bed and quite an early night, I scroll on my phone while watching the TV, or I play solitaire on my phone while watching the TV. And the last couple of nights, I'm a bit of an all or nothing. You know, there's no grey. It needs to be either that or that. So I've started as a trying to wean myself off my phone a little bit, is by saying, you do not pick your phone up while you're watching a movie, and you focus completely on that. And therefore you can have conversations with the partner. You're not in your own world. And so that's been massive for me. And I never, knowing now, I probably do have ADHD. It's something I've done since my mid-20s. I used to do Sudokus, not on my phone, but I'd do puzzles a lot while watching TV, while watching a movie. And your brain is then not on any one thing. It's flitting between. And so I think I've just got my brain trained to flit so much that it's then really hard to focus on something when you really need to focus on it. So yeah, it's a big topic for me at the moment.
That's great that you're on that journey. Can get it back. So even if you find that you cannot focus on a film, and you see that a lot with children, because they're so used to the busyness of YouTube and 3-minute videos, and you're bored of it, and so you skip. I'm really fortunate in that I've never had TikTok. I've not very often fallen into scroll holes because I keep social media off my phone. So I'm really fortunate in that I've managed to keep away from that, because naturally I've got quite high levels of focus. I can really zone in. So I'm not very good at stopping doing something. I like to finish things to completion. So I'm not very good when the day is ending and I need to cook my tea or pick my kids up from school. I find that really, really difficult to switch off. If left to my own devices, I would forget to eat. I would just work and because I'm really, really focused. So I think quite naturally I'm good at that. And we've tried to, with our children, help them keep longer attention. So they're banned to go on YouTube. My kids are now nearly 11 and 8. And we had a kids' YouTube phase when they were younger, but it made them both horrible people to be around. You know, they just got really addicted to it. They don't have iPads. They play on computer games with friends. They do watch Netflix. We don't really limit screen time because they're both very, very active kids. Again, another thing that we are both blessed or lucky to have very active kids, but also we've really, really encouraged active kids. So they're always out playing out on scooters, bikes. They play football 7 days a week. So we're really pleased that we've done that. But it's so easy to get into these habits where we don't have the focus. And that's, as a generation, we are like that. I've been reading a book called The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt. I can't pronounce his surname. But that's been a real eye-opening about the effects of tech and social media on particularly Gen Z. I'm a millennial, and I got my first phone when I was in my late teens. Whereas it's very, very different. I've got younger brothers and sisters who are very, very much in that Gen Z, and they got phones really early and nobody knew about the downsides of it. So you can relearn focus. So with your new now watching films or watching TV without something else, how have you managed to do that?
It was the whole identifying that there was an issue, identifying that it was having a negative effect on me, or it wasn't allowing me to be what I wanted to be or do what I wanted to do. So definitely acknowledging it first, and then just getting to the point where I'm thinking I need to do something about this. And even if it is just as small as that, I might scroll some other times during the day, but it's 2 hours or an hour and a half on an evening prior to bed, because sleep is so important for your body, for your brain to reset, for, just processing of everything. And I think if you're thinking, if you've got thoughts being pushed into your head, like, oh, what supplements should I be taking? And I'm 40, should I be weightlifting? And, all the stuff that comes through Instagram is keeping you in I should be doing this, thinking about the future. And so therefore you're not present in the moment. And if you're not present in the moment, you're not thankful, you're not present with partners, you're not processing your own emotions, because I'm completely distracted all the time. So yes, I just knew I had to stop. And that time before bed, the hour and a half or 2 hours before bed where I don't have it at all, I think has helped me with deeper sleep as well, which then in turn helps with everything else processing and your body recovering.
Yeah. Do you put it in a different room? Do you use screen time?
I just have it next to me. I think once I've made a decision in my head, like I didn't drink for 6 months earlier this year, and that you'd have asked anybody, would you imagine Rachel to stop drinking for 6 months? I'd have said, no, Rachel loves a drink and a party. And so if I've said to my head, I'm not doing this, I'm quite good at not doing it. So it's just sat next to me. And I just try to stop myself picking it up.
That's amazing. That's a bit of a superpower, that you can just decide and then do it, honestly. So for those of you that aren't superpowered, like Rachel, a couple of things that help me are physically putting my phone out of the room.
Yeah.
Upstairs, putting it on charge in my office. I don't charge it in my bedroom. That really helped. Even as simple as the other arm of the sofa. So I would find myself watching it and I'd see my hand just reaching over for it. And then you have to stop yourself and go, no. Whereas actually, if you put your phone on the other arm of the sofa, your hand does the reach, but there's no phone there. And it retrains that habit that we have of reaching and scrolling. So that really works. Setting screen time. So after a certain time, you can't go on your phone. If you don't trust yourself to overrule it, you can ask someone who you trust to set the screen time password and not tell you it. I've done that before, which was hilarious when my husband, when I was trying to get out of the scrolling or, I was trying to be off my phone. I'm really obsessive over games. I can get obsessive over games. Honestly, I have to do them off my phone. So I was helping myself about probably 5 years ago with phone use. And I got my husband to set my screen time password. And then I was selling my phone and he forgot the password. And I couldn't then get into my phone to then reset it and turn off iCloud. And there was a tense 5 minutes where he was trying to remember the passcode and I was really cross at him. But that really helps because I couldn't overrule it, because I've made a decision about when I want to go on my phones, when I'm in my rational, grown-up, future-thinking self, thinking about what's good for me and what's not, and my irrational, a bit stressed, needing an escape, doom-scrolling self then wants to overrule my more rational self by giving myself more screen time, which is why I got someone else to do the passcode, so that my rational head could be the one in the rule.
That's a really good advice. And I do sit next to a table, so I might start putting it upstairs, because if I got a message, I'd still pick it up and look, because you want to be responsive to messages, but I don't sit and scroll. The game thing, I'm on solitaire constantly, but I had 2 dots a few years ago on my phone and I had to delete it off. It was like matching up colours, and
Remember it well.
it wasn't good for me. So I did have to delete that off. And I have contemplated deleting them off my phone altogether, and just having, so when I'm working, I'm at my desk, I've got Insta open or I've got TikTok open, but I worry that because I've not checked little things and done little bits of stories or whatever in between, which I would do, that I'd have more to do during the day. I feel like my day is spread out between 7 o'clock in the morning and 9 o'clock at night, which makes it easier to focus on the main things while I'm sat at a desk. I also do set a sleep time on my phone, so after 9 o'clock, but that is very easy to turn off.
It is. That's why you someone else to do the password.
Yeah.
You've got to, when you're in a business, you've got to have it so it works for you. Then you need to do what works for you.
Yeah.
Running your own business, you've said it means you wear lots of hats, lots of different things. So how do you prioritize what really matters in business when everything feels urgent?
So shipping customer orders is a non-negotiable. That is, I have to do that. And that is the first thing that, it's not necessarily the first thing that I do, but I need to get it in before the cut-off of the postage time. So I need to walk to the post office, I need to drop them off. But I will generally wait till a certain time and then just make sure I've definitely got that done and I've walked to the post office before 5 to get things posted out. So that is a non-negotiable. Social media posting daily is, again, a non-negotiable. It's probably not the best social media strategy, but I do try to post daily. And therefore, if I will have I film content, I cook a lot. So some of my content is filmed on a weekend or an evening, not in front of my desk. But doing that then and then uploading into CapCut, and then having that ready for when I do a proper sit down at my desk social media session. From that, I will turn that recipe into a social media post on my YouTube channel, into a blog for the website, into a recipe for an ebook that I'm collating separately. I use that and then I do a voiceover, and then I will, so that one post could take me 2 hours or so to get all of those content together, get it uploaded on the website, copy the blog link, put it in my Insta, and then, put it into my metrical. But I don't want to be doing that ad hoc. I want to sit down and do that. So if I know that I have scheduled my social media for the next week and I'm coming up to the time where I'm going to be running out of content, that is the main thing that I need to do, is sit down and make sure that I've got that coming in. And then the rest of the proactive bits, product development, research into things, tweaking the website, making sure things are looking nice, thinking about my packaging. Is it still relevant? I'm just launching collagen in the next couple of weeks. So I've been doing a lot of proactive research development, designing of the packaging and getting that back and ordering, suppliers and that kind of thing. So everything else kind of fits in between. But my non-negotiables, I know that I need to do every day. And I do swear by eat the frog, because I am notorious for procrastinating and not doing the things I should be doing and getting to, wait and leave it to last minute. I do sometimes think this is the job that you've been putting off for whatever reason. You just sometimes have a job in your head that you think, oh, I'm just dreading this. It's going to be hard, or it's going to take some real focus, or it's not using my skills, or it's not going to be enjoyable. And that's the one where I think, get it done, Rach, get that done out of the way. I think if you've done the worst thing earlier on, I saw I posted a story the other day and it said, if you start your day with lunges, there is nothing worse that will happen during that day.
Yeah, I love that Eat the Frog. It's such a simple concept, but you fully adopt it and you think, what is the number one thing that I need to do today? That's big, juicy, gross, ugly, that for some reason I don't want to do it. It's this horrible frog that I've been putting off. Just do it, because it's going to be nowhere near as bad as what you think it's going to be. And you're going to feel amazing once you've done it. And then you set up for the rest of the day, because nothing else will be as bad as eating a live frog first thing in the morning. Nothing else. So
Apart from lunges.
Apart from lunges. I'd rather do lunges than eat a live frog, I think. I do swear by Eat the Frog. Sometimes we can get so het up in our to-do list that we have 20 things on it. But actually, just figuring out the main 1, 2, 3 is really important, because you could get paralysed by a long to-do list and go, well, I can't do it all, so what's the point? Screw it. Whereas actually, if you go, here's my frog or frogs, this is the most important frog and secondary frog, or however you want to do it, and then the rest is if I have more time. And I love the words that you used was non-negotiables. You have some things that are non-negotiables. Sending out the vitamins, thank you. My pot is, I don't think I've got many left, so I'm excited. I'll be on your list this week, I'm sure. Sending out those, non-negotiable. Social media is a major strategy for you in your business. Negotiable. I think for each of us, we need to work out what are our non-negotiables in our business that we need to do weekly, daily, monthly. For those of you listening, whether you work in a corporate environment, work for yourself, or wherever you work, what are your non-negotiables? They're the things that you need to do every day. And then everything else is the extra. If you don't know your non-negotiables, sit down. What are the things that are going to be moving your life on, your business on, your work on? What are the things that are the frogs? Things that you're putting off. I love that. Non-negotiables. I need to work out mine. Need to write them down, stick them somewhere to keep me focused.
Yeah, absolutely. If I wouldn't have a business if I didn't send orders out. I wouldn't have a business if I didn't respond to emails. I wouldn't have a business if I didn't pay suppliers. There's some things that you've just got to do. And then everything else is as and when you can get to them. I think the speed of me doing things as well is something I've had to learn, because being addicted to the tick box of quick wins, my strategy previously was just do the quick wins, because that's actually what I wanted to do. That's what my brain wanted to do. So I've had to come away from that quite a lot. And I've worked in really fast-paced environments, which means then that you often don't have thinking time or mulling over time. And so the last year, I've had to really understand that that's the natural pace that I want to work at, and that doesn't do well in a business where I need to think about things thoroughly rather than just make snap decisions and go with that. So the speed, trying to reduce my speed has been a major thing for me as well, just to give myself time to process things.
That's really interesting, because lots of the time people think productivity is tick, 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 tick. But if they're not the 20 most important things in your business, and that's not productivity, that is flapping around and faffing for no reason. That's a lesson that we all really need to learn more of, is what are the important things and stripping away the rest. I'm reading an amazing book at the moment called 10x is better than 2x, which I very much recommend to anyone building business. And it's about choosing the strategies that are going to really move your business along and getting rid of the rest and delegating it, stopping doing it. And that frees you up to 10x, because when you 10x your business, you need to be really, really focused on the really important things, because there's only 1 or 2 things that's going to get you to 10x, 10 times your business. there's lots of things that might get you to 2 times it. So you'll end up doing a lot. Whereas if you're going to 10 times it, you'll end up doing less, but more of that key thing. And that's really challenging me because I'd probably been on the 2x thing, especially being a solopreneur, doing it all myself. So I've taken a deep breath and I've taken a bit of a risk, and I have just hired somebody to help me out with doing some of the 80% of my work that I still want to get done, but it's stuff that other people can do. And I'm taking a bit of a leap, but I know that that will free me up to do the 2x things. And I need to take a long, hard look at everything that I do and think about what is actually going to take my business where I want it to be, to the next big level, and what is holding me back, and what can I just stop doing, and what can I get someone else to do. That one big tick is going to benefit your business more than 100 of the little ticks. That's a challenge though, isn't it?
I think as well, if we're unsure what to do next, or you're not really sure where you're going or whatever, to feel productive, you want to be doing things, but you could be doing things that are not conducive to getting to that goal. And the expression busy fools is something that I think a lot of solopreneurs or entrepreneurs or business owners will find themselves doing. You know, I could spend a full day really reconciling all my accounts and, you know, making sure everything's uploaded and are all my files organised and sorted out. And you can spend time faffing for the sake of faffing, but that's not going to get me any business in. So it is really trying to focus and hone down as to what you wanting to achieve and how are you going to achieve that, and then focusing on those. And then everything else in the background, you do as and when. Don't get really behind on your accounts though, because your accountant will not be happy.
Fab, so as we are coming to the end, have you got one piece of advice that you would give to other entrepreneurs who are potentially thinking they might be leaning towards more ADHD tendencies, or just in general struggling to get the important stuff done? What advice would you give?
Just to be real with yourself, be honest with yourself. So you can talk yourself into, oh, I'm doing this because it's this, and I'm doing this because it's this. But if you're doing something because you enjoy it and you're avoiding doing something else, then that is not going to get you where you want to be. So get really detailed about what your goals are, figure out how you're going to achieve them, and then focus on those. And then anytime you get dragged away or you're procrastinating or you're doing something else that's not productive or that's going to get you towards those, be really honest with yourself and pull yourself back in, because nobody else is going to do it.
So figure out your goals.
Yeah.
Focus on that. Figure out how you're going to get there. Keep the focus and then pull yourself back in. So have some kind of check-in mechanism where you make sure you're still going towards those goals. I once had a client that you reminded me of where she was focused on some particular goals and she called it her North Star. Loved that because it was so visual, so powerful. And she had that, her goal was her North Star. And that was what pulled her, focused her. It reminded me a bit like the Christmas story of the wise men following the star to Bethlehem to meet Jesus. And you're like, what is your North Star? What direction are you going in? And are you on track? So figure it out, focus on it, and then have some kind of mechanism to make sure you check in and that you're still going in that direction. And if your goals change, that's okay. If they tweak, just keep thinking about it. I try and set myself time every month to look at my business like a CEO and do the strategy. Where am I going? Have I been distracted this month by something? What shiny objects have I followed this month that isn't actually my glittering North Star? And that really helps me check in.
Yeah, I probably do need to step back and look at that more. You end up getting quite focused on the detail or the day-to-day, and just stepping back, looking at your business as a whole and saying, am I still aligned with this, where I'm wanting to go? Is this still working, or have I just got carried away down some path that's not actually leading me anywhere?
And a coach is really good for that as well. If anyone's listening and thinking, I have no idea what my North Star is, finding a business coach, finding someone who can help you figure out exactly where you want to go, help you start walking those steps towards it and keep you in check. That accountability, that can be really helpful. Me. I'm not going to recommend anyone else, Rachel, on my own podcast.
No, absolutely not.
I'm level 7 trained executive coach, senior accredited with the EMCC. If anyone does want to work with me, get in touch. I'd love to be able to help you figure out your North Star and then keep that focus towards it. Have a chat around with people you know, see who they recommend. You need to find someone that you trust, that you can be really honest with. When you're looking for a coach, you need to have that person that you can say anything to and be perfectly comfortable doing that. Because honesty is how you get the most out of coaching. When you have that open and honesty and you can have someone asking great questions to you, that can really, really help in business. Anyway, let's wrap this up, Rachel. So where can listeners find you if they want to get some amazing vitamins with Vigor Vitamins, or if they want to connect with you, follow your socials and these recipe videos that you're clearly making? So tell me how people can get in touch with you.
So I'm LinkedIn Rachel Beck, which is kind of my personal business side of things. And then I'm Instagram, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, Facebook, all of it. Well, Metrical is really good for just being able to tick the box and put it on everywhere. So yes, I'm absolutely everywhere. People do tend to struggle with knowing what supplements would help them and what they're wanting to achieve, or I'm wanting to streamline them. This is what I'm taking currently. I'm more than happy answering any of those questions. So if anyone has them, they can just fire them over.
Amazing. I'll put all the links in the show notes and your website and everything. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Rachel. That's been a really fun conversation.
No,
thank you so much for having me. And that's all for today. Thank you for joining me on Productivity with Zest. If you want to figure out what area of productivity is holding you back, take my quiz at www.zestproductivity.com/quiz, and I'll give you some tips to help you along the way. If you've enjoyed this, hit follow so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling generous, please leave a review because it really helps. If you want to hear more, head to www.zestproductivity.com. Until next time, stay focused, stay balanced, and keep bringing the zest to your productivity.